Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very influential leader amongst us today from the industry for the Keynote. He heads Blue Star Limited, India's leading air conditioning and commercial refrigeration company with over 7 decades of experience in providing expert cooling solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. B. Thiagarajan, Managing Director, Blue Star Limited, to please come forward and share the tone for the day, set the tone for the day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Blue Star is 70 years old. I am not so that red like. I have 7 decades of experience. My experience is just 4 decades and 2 years. My speech is going to align with what Mr. Doble delivered in an excellent manner as a practicing leader. I'll come to that. Before that, it is my pleasure and privilege to address you in the 10th edition of the Manufacturing Today Conference and Awards 2022. Bivor is very modest. He didn't, the film was impressive, but he didn't tell many other things. It is a premium B2B publication that offers content, knowledge, information that is provided from within the industry by the people. So the peculiarity of this group is the content is created by the people from the industry, and he has the charm to get people to contribute, and you can see how he is able to mobilize so many eminent personalities into this conference as well. The magazine clearly distinguishes itself with the industry-focused editorial content that facilitate decision makers to take the right call. It not only informs but also analyzes. The magazine highlights the trends, including the latest and relevant, as well as the best practices from the world of technology, with a focus on achieving manufacturing excellence. It covers the spectrum of industries. There are magazines which are leaving out some of the industries here. Here I have seen in this magazine, whether it is chemicals, coatings, dyes, molds, so on and so forth, every aspect of manufacturing is covered here, including EPC. Apart from hosting webinars on topics related to the industry, it is also hosting many events for the manufacturing sector, such as the Smart Manufacturing Summit. Many of you would have attended that, or the Smart Factory Summit, or the Future of SCM and Logistics, so on and so forth. The magazine and the ITP Media Group also organizes the awards, and many of you are participants here. And in manufacturing, I believe it is the biggest award every year that is being given out. It gets bigger and better, and I was told that more than 400 applicants are there this year as well. So this award has set a benchmark with its impeccable track record built on transparency and credibility, drawing huge respect and acceptability from the who is who of the industry. I would like to compliment the leadership team of ITP Media for accomplishing this and playing a different role for the manufacturing industry, which is also important. I will share my perspective, so I continue to learn, and I learn from Manufacturing Today magazine also. And the very speech Mr. Doble delivered, I learned a few more things today. I witnessed and continuing to witness the transformation, because the manufacturing industry, I think it is the golden period we are in. It commenced last year. I think for next 5 to 10 years, we are going to see certain remarkable things happening in the industry. I am not a core manufacturing person. I have overseen manufacturing for over 4 decades, so it is a practicing leader's point of view, rather than an expert manufacturing guy delivering something. Now, Mr. Doble mentioned about this, that the manufacturing sector accounts only for 17% of India's GDP, compared with the contribution of over 50% by the services sector. India represents only 2% of the world's manufacturing output, a tenth of what China is doing, our neighbor. This clearly shows that India has a long way to go until it attains its best potential in manufacturing. I think it will happen definitely within next 10 years. And this 5 years is going to be a very accelerating period, and we will get there. Manufacturing has the potential to provide large-scale employment to the young Indian population and enable significant section of the population to move out of poverty. This is critical for capitalizing the democratic dividend, as India needs to create at least 1 million jobs per month over the next decade. I don't think any other sector has the potential to do that other than manufacturing. Again, you talked about what is going to happen with the robots and all, but I think we will find a way to get the employment also going. I definitely believe that the cost of capital in India and the way in which the digital or the automation is going to be costing people, and also it is getting outdated. You have to keep on investing. So I hold a view, while digital is important, automation is important, it is not coming at a cheap cost at all. It is, in fact, the payback period is very, very high. It is being sold as it is going to be improving the productivity, yes, but it is, if you really look at it, if we were to compare with the manual work in manufacturing, I think we have a clear case to demonstrate that we can go ahead and find the right balance between the automation as well as employing physical labor. We are aware the Make in India scheme adopted by the government as a core policy initiative, the introduction of production-linked incentive schemes on various categories of products, these are welcome step in that direction. The scheme also incentivizes large domestic and global players to boost production, build a competitive ecosystem, and lead more inclusive, which will lead to more inclusive growth. I know about air conditioners. I can tell you that there is a PLI scheme for air conditioners. To give you a perspective in terms of the market size, India's market size is around 7 million units. China's domestic market size is 81 million units. So you can see the domestic market size. If you include the products that China exports out of China for other countries, the total production in China is equivalent to 121 million units. So we are a 7 million unit market. 121 million is being produced by China. In fact, they produce air conditioners like a ballpoint pen. That's the scale difference between both the countries. So we have been dependent on China on air conditioners, that more than 40% of air conditioners were getting imported. With this PLI scheme, the capacity of the country is becoming something like 2.2 times. That the current capacity is more than doubling within 2.5 to 3 year period. Now, the PLI money that is being spent by the government is close to some 6,500 crores. What is going to happen is the 6,500, this includes the components, including Aditya Birla is also involved in that in terms of the aluminum and copper that is getting imported from China. So the manufacturers, if you want to earn the money, you're all aware, I'm still clarifying, the PLI scheme is not based on what you produce. It is based on incremental sale over a particular year. In this case, over FY21, whatever is the incremental sale, That is the x-axis. Y-axis is the investment. So therefore, it is not your investment alone. You have to go ahead and sell more than FY21 in order to get it. So it is a 6% of the incremental sale for the first year, and 5%, 4% like that, it moves. So you need to sell more, and then only you will be able to earn the PLI. So what is really going to happen? The industry capacity has become more than twice. You have to earn that PLI. If that is so, you can make a very clear assumption. The PLI to be earned will be diluted in terms of pricing only. So therefore, the prices are going to come down. And in the process, the domestic market is supposed to be growing. So the transformation that is taking place is the air conditioner consumption is going to become twice. Air conditioner prices will be lower. And in the process, your import dependency will come down. In 3 to 4 year time, you can see you will not be importing anything from China at all. This doubling the capacity, rough estimate of employment that is getting generated direct, indirect, is around 750,000 people are getting employed. So the simple initiative of 6,500 crores being spent by the government is transforming one particular industry. Of course, there are debates that are going on whether you are questioning about agriculture subsidy or fertilizer subsidy, whether industry really needs, corporates really need a PLI or not. That's a debate. It's worth having that debate in the interest of transparency and understanding. But if you look at it, this scheme is helping many industries to transform, and in the process, you are also looking at a very different ecosystem in terms of you need infrastructure. The most of the manufacturing units where it is coming up, I'll talk about it. You are going to be seeing a social transformation as well. Aspiration of Indian manufacturers is to emerge as a major alternate destination for manufacturing in the world and be part of the global supply chain. And obviously in this China plus one, what is the role India can play? And you know, there is Vietnam with whom we are closely competing in order to position ourselves as an Indian industry. I'm certain that in several sectors, we will become global leaders, and the Aditya Birla is a clear example, and there are Reliance, Vedanta. So many people are demonstrating that, and here is a lady from Nagpur who has demonstrated that Aurangabad actually, she has demonstrated that she can be as a MSME an exporter to China as well as exporter to Russia, and doing some remarkable work. There are three areas which are critical for our success, according to me. One is the scale, which again Mr. Doble talked about, which we ignore. The scale imperative is an important one if we want to compete globally. And we have to be smart, and we have to be sustainable in the real sense. I mentioned to you about China example of the scale in the room air conditioners. You take any category, that's how it will turn out to be. And in order that you compete with a country which has got a huge scale, and you have lost out after 15, 20 years, you are trying to catch up and place yourself in the global map, then it is important for you to be innovating, which he talked about again, the process and process product innovation. So the R&D investments in the country itself is pathetic actually, that we are in 0.65% of the GDP and nowhere closer to anyone. So if you mark the GDP growth of a nation versus the R&D spend as a percentage of GDP, there is a very clear correlation. It happened in Japan, it happened in Germany, it happened in Taiwan, it happened in Israel, it happened in United States, who are all at a very high percentage. Israel is somewhere above 5, and The Germany, United States are around 2.6, 2.7. We are stagnating at the 0.65, and it is likely to even reduce this year. So the R&D investments are very important for the country to grow. And in India, even the R&D investments are mostly by the government rather than the private sector, because the private sector's share of that R&D, what I mentioned as 0.65% of GDP, is less than 30%. 70% is still the government is investing in R&D. So I do not think this manufacturing growth can happen without the investments that are happening in R&D as well. Now, obviously in the policy discussions, whichever is the industry forum, then we get into whether 200% depreciation will be given, or there will be a PLI can include the R&D investments also. So I don't think that that is necessary. If there is a business case that it will improve my competitiveness, then R&D investments become as essential as an employee expense or a advertising expense. So therefore, this R&D expense as a subject is also to be kept by the manufacturing fraternity, and it should drive this and demand this. Now, smart manufacturing is gaining momentum. We know that we must accelerate the efforts and reskilling our workforce on one part, so that whatever automation takes place, they do not lose out that job opportunities. And as I mentioned, I believe that India will still depend on manual laborers more, given the cost of capital. And I look at the automation more in terms of consistency and the quality rather than eliminating a workforce. Even MSMEs must embrace Industry 4.0 to the extent possible, where it could help them to improve their quality or consistency or the competitiveness. Now, the one another way of looking at it is the pre-used or the pre-owned automation equipment, be it robotics or cobotics. That industry is taking shape, and I think we should encourage that as well, so that the affordability, and that also creates employment for a different set of people. Now, again, you talked about sustainability. Sir, I do agree with you. I share your sentiments that it is in the reports, in whatever disclosures are asked by SEBI or whomsoever it is, it can be well written than what really happened there on the field. And there are even expert writers on that who can create this report for people. Now, as the manufacturing sector begins to grow, we must remain committed to sustainability, and green manufacturing should be the focus. I don't think the regulations alone will suffice. We must create awareness, incentivize production and usage of green construction material, and support circular economy initiatives. I have been a strong advocate. In all the PLI schemes, I had argued that the PLI qualification is subject to your setting up a green manufacturing unit or certain parameters to be, and European Union had been asking that green recovery is very important when you incentivize in the post-pandemic era. I suppose it will begin to happen. As a practicing leader, that there are certain other issues I am tabling for you to consider. That one is the manufacturing versus marketing ecosystem itself. While I don't think we have a challenge in terms of marketing professionals, there is a huge challenge in terms of manufacturing professionals. So many factories are coming up, and it is just not possible. We are poaching from each company, and we are paying some higher salary. And the fundamental thing is, we never attracted bright people into manufacturing in very large numbers. There are many bright out of their own passion, like you all came to manufacturing. Now, somehow, marketing job was seen as one point. When I passed out in '79, advertising used to be that industry, and later on, the manufacturing has not been attracting people in large numbers. I think the remuneration is also an issue. That there is within my own company, the average salary, the median salary of sales and marketing professionals are much higher than the manufacturing professionals, and aftermarket and service is worse. So this is one area which we may have to work. And he talked about the men-dominated one, and we see significant transformation at the shop floor level. I don't see manufacturing leaders that we have been hiring general managers and vice president level people, that when you head for the women leaders, it's not available in the industry at all. So there should be a fast track process to go ahead and create women leaders in manufacturing. And she will be aware in CII Manufacturing Council, it is very difficult to get women. And even speakers in manufacturing summit, we find it very, very difficult to get. So that's a sorry state of affairs which we need to work on. Now, Vietnam versus India, the debate will go on, and I think ease of doing business and the infrastructure development, and many agencies are working with the government. I think government is aware of it in order to position India as the right destination. And I think the competitiveness is an issue, that Vietnam has the advantage of free trade agreements with many countries, and they could get raw material at cheaper prices. I don't think India will have faced problem in terms of productivity, but in terms of input costs, it is still having the challenge, including the power. And I mentioned about scale imperative, and the cost leadership is also an important thing. India is a very poor country. You don't have market for high-end products at all. Like I can tell you that a 5-star air conditioner is just 21% of the market. People still buy the 3-star, 2-star air conditioners. And if you stack the low-end products, constitutes around 80% of the total market. And the growth is driven by aspirational middle class. More than 65% of the market is in tier 3, 4, 5 towns. So therefore, driving down the cost and making the product affordable is an important thing. You will see many successful brands now. It is because they have understood that, how to do that. Again, for that, you need scale in order to bring down the cost, or you have to innovate and come out with products that are affordable. Many of our factories on remote locations in India, if you look at it, and the history being that the land was available there, we moved out, and at some point of a time, including air conditioning companies and pharma companies, moved around automobile companies where there is a excise duty, sales tax, income tax advantage to godforsaken places for 10 years, and after that 10 years, they have deserted that place and moved on to some other place. So if you travel in Bhatti and Kalam and all, it's all a very big disaster. So they have run for 10 years for the tax and left that. Nothing has happened to people. And the companies are enjoyed, I suppose, the tax benefit. Now, these remote locations are also becoming important because today the land is available there. People set up the factories there. And we have to recognize the working conditions of the people, that big companies like Aditya Birla Group or Vedanta and all, they have a huge township that is set up and that is taken care of, but many other companies are not able to create that. And I don't think manufacturing sector will grow without the ecosystem for the people living there or to improve. And it is not uncommon to see that 1.5 hours people are picked up and driven for the factory and brought back. It is really an unproductive work. And there is, I'm again not sure we are adequately compensating the manufacturing people, that the management looks manufacturing as some, the large number of people are union and how it is, and in that way. Now, look at the pandemic, that we solved the problem of the other functions, whether it is sales, marketing, they can work from home. The factory people have to work there. So during the both the waves of the pandemic, people have worked in the factory and risking themselves. Yes, they were taken care of in terms of vaccination or the healthcare and other thing. But at the end of the day, I believe financial compensation is very important, and I again pitch for the salary benchmarking in terms of manufacturing has to be changed. It has to be looked at, and we are leaders. We should drive this. The manufacturing growth or transformation is not going to take place without that part of it. Now, again, the manufacturing capex versus the certain other investments, revenue investments the companies make. In the boardrooms, I'm talking from the point of view of my company or my colleagues and friends in other boards. An advertising expense decision will be taken very easily. A manufacturing capex decision takes a very long time, and it will tend to be tight, cut, and because advertising as a percentage of revenue for a particular industry, like let us say a consumer durable is 3% or a FMCG is 4%, is readily agreed upon and moved forward. And distinct scrutiny for capex happens again and again. This is also one we should change. While we don't like China, China as a destination was also a place for learning, that many of the young manufacturing leaders over the past 10 years, 15 years, learned quite a bit about manufacturing engineering, from China, because they had access to, they were sourcing something, they were traveling there, they were learning. And I don't think that is any more available. That door is shut somewhat. And so therefore, how are we going to learn about manufacturing? And quite a few developed markets are still outdated. I don't think in specific sectors, maybe, but there is nothing for you to learn from even United States or Europe in quite a few factories, in quite a few sectors. And Korea, China, these are the places which provided a lot of learning opportunities. That is another aspect that we should keep in mind. Now, I can go on, and the important thing is with regard to the visionary leaders, how we will create. Like again, a controversial subject I'm tabling. How many of the manufacturing professionals will make it to the board or a CEO? Again, it is a sales and marketing dominated world. Now the manufacturing leaders, specifically they are left out in some remote locations in most companies. And therefore, creating visionary leaders in manufacturing who will be able to lead this. It's a different ecosystem today, that you can imagine that a factory which was creating X, it is going to be manufacturing 3X. That scale is different. It is going to continue like that, so that investments there in order to create leaders and that specific focus. With all this, I still believe that we will get there. This is going to be a decade for the manufacturing sector, decade for the manufacturing professionals. As we celebrate the awards, we should celebrate this as well, because the coming years are going to be part of a very important era for manufacturing. I rejoice in the fact that all of us are part of India's mission towards becoming a major manufacturing destination. And I once again compliment ITB Media for their contribution in many ways to further this cause. I wish to congratulate the winners of the awards and take pride in sharing my deep sense of appreciation to the manufacturing professionals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thiagarajan. I'll request you to be on stage with us.